welcome back to Talk Worthy with me. So I recently came across this commercial that was charging humanity to change the Nazi symbol into a symbol of peace by a t-shirt company called Teespring and KA Designs. They suggested that this was a symbol we've come to know as something that reflects hate and devastation and tragedy, and they really want to change that to have its original meaning, which was a symbol when it was turned around in the East meant abundance. So they decided to put these swastikas on t-shirts and then color them a pretty color pink and purple and say, let's have a different meaning for it. My first reaction when watching the commercial and the suggestion of this was uneasiness, a sense of disgust and frustration about this particular issue. And I really wanted to understand what was going on with myself. Why was I feeling uncomfortable with this? I thought to myself, am I not an evolved person who's figured out ways to transform evil from good? I mean, after all, the Nazis did take this Eastern symbol that meant abundance and they turned it into something very horrible that means devastation, murder, and anti-Semitism. Why can't we turn it back around? The way that we communicate with one another is complex and it's nuanced. We have conversations with one another, but we also use our body language and our eye language, and the way that we speak has a ton of different stories kind of related in every single thing that we say. Even symbols carry a large narrative. It's not just a symbol that represents one thing. It's a symbol that represents a piece of history. It's a symbol that represents stories and narratives. A symbol showcases human connection and history. So the suggestion that a symbol which stood for gassing people, killing people, murdering people, not being loving could all of a sudden have a new meaning means and suggests that you are wiping out the stories that were attached as a result of what that symbol communicated. So we're not really transforming ourselves because we're changing what the symbol means. We're losing ourselves. Transformation is the ability to take something and transform it into something new. It's the ability to change it, shift it, redesign it. It is not the ability to erase it. The suggestion that the swastika could now represent love versus hatred just because we say it so and we paint it a pretty color pink is preposterous, and not because of what it is asking from us, but because of what it is taking from us. You're actually not asking us to transform, you're asking us to regress. By asking us to erase the meaning that a group of people created for it, for the purpose of changing history, you're asking us to also erase those stories affected by the meaning of that symbol. Essentially, you're asking us to forget. And that's why my gut turned, because you're just asking too much. And I imagine that the Eastern originators who created the swastika for it to mean abundance also felt like an entire nation was asking too much from them when they stole it and used it for a different meaning as well. Somehow they must have felt like their stories had been hijacked. When the Nazis stole their symbol, they stole and erased their stories as well, just as you are asking to steal and erase our stories. It's insulting to assume that evil can be erased. You're not asking us to redesign our thinking. You're asking us to stop thinking. By asking us to forget what that particular symbol represented to so many people and how it destroyed their lives, you're asking us to forget those lives. Yes, the Nazis chose to steal that symbol. It was hijacked, and it can never be reinvented without hijacking the stories behind the symbols as well. You're asking us to have our truth stolen away, to have our history expunged, to have our records erased into oblivion. When healing from pain, we can't negate its existence and pretend it never happened. No, we have to learn from our pain. We have to acknowledge that it occurred. And then we reposition ourselves and we transform something new, something brand new, a new symbol. Not an old symbol that reflected pain, but a new symbol that reflects something new, a new narrative, a new story, a new history into the future. So I ask you, please, get rid of that awful symbol on your t-shirts. Give us something to talk about that is creative and innovative. Let's not go backwards. Let's move forwards together.